Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is a very interesting video where I'm going to talk about three books, and each one of these three books belongs to one category. So my favorite read till date, worst read till date, and most emotional read till date. Yeah. So I have got these three books under each of these categories. So let's get started. So the first book is under this category of my favorite book till date. It is my favorite reads till date. Now I have already talked about my top 3 reads in another video whose link is in the description box, and there I have mentioned like 3 books. That is the first one being The Prodigal Daughter, which is under the Cain and Abel series, and the second one being Sands of Time, and I have that, the Sands of Time, and the third one being of course Fault in Our Stars is the fourth one, but the third one was Emily Birdster Trilogy. So Emily Birdster Trilogy was, I read it in paper, like ebook. It was in Wattpad, available for free, all the 3 parts. And Cain and Abel I read in a again ebook, but Prodigal Daughter I read in the paperback. And the second best, the favorite has to be this one, that is Sidney Sheldon's Sands of Time. So this is the story of 4 nuns, or rather 4 women, and about the men they are forbidden to love. I mean, the tagline itself is so amazing. It says 4 women and the men they are forbidden to love. So it's the story of 4 women who by some instances or events meets at one place, and they all has to be rescued after a certain point of time because they were running away from a place which was a convent, and I think 2 or 3 of them were nun, or I guess all 4 of them became nun or something in the course of time. And then the entire journey of when they had to be rescued from that convent, and these 4 girls meets these like men or the people on the way, and how the story takes a complete U-turn is completely different. And the way, or rather the narration by Sidney Sheldon, is definitely phenomenal. Sidney Sheldon is one of my favorites, and all his books till now, whether it's the Sands of Time or the Best Laid Plans, Stranger in the Mirror, all are phenomenal. But out of all those, Sands of Time was the first book which I read under like of Sidney Sheldon, and this was totally like one of my best till now. It's something full of suspense, mystery, romance, love, action, like whatnot. So this has to be under my favorite like read till date. And yeah, so next one has to be my most emotional read till date. Now actually there are 2 books under this. First one is Durjoy Datta's When Only Love Remains, and the other one has to be Ajay K. Pandey's You're My Best Wife. So this book, that is You're My Best Wife, is based on a true story which happened in the life of this author Ajay K. Pandey. And after I read the story, I totally considered like him as my favorite Indian author, because although the story was based on a real life incident which happened with him, the language and everything was so much like so genuine, authentic, and so honest, and so much like raw, that I don't think so there have been any other reads which made me that emotional. So this particular book I read in Kindle, so in the ebook version. That was one book, and the second one has to be Durjoy Datta's When Only Love Remains. So if any of my viewer right now is someone who prefers reading emotional novels, reading which you might end up crying, these 2 books can definitely help you in that. Because trust me, I read this one when I was, I think, in 11th or something, and I cried. I literally was crying, but I cried only for that particular day, considering the fact, because I thought it's just a fiction, it's just a story. But that book called You Are the Best Wife, I read it when I was doing a job, so I think just last year. And I cried for like 3 days, I think. That thought was there at the back of my mind, because it's a true story, it was not a fiction. So I was really emotional. So these 2 would be my most emotional reads, and both in one or the other way had to do with parting or separation. So You Are the Best Wife is a story of a very romantic couple, that is of course Ajay, his real life story, and his wife who was diagnosed with dengue, but she had that after effect of dengue, something called septicemia, and after which she couldn't be saved, so she dies. And the story after that, like everything has been said in a manner so palpable, so genuine, that you just feel emotional, because it was a real story and it had nothing to do with that like fake or something like that, because it was based on the story of this author, that is Ajay K. Pandey. And you could totally like feel like just connecting with him right away. And I think after reading the book, I immediately reached out to him. I mailed him, I pinged him, and I started following him in all the social medias. I even made a book review of Ajay K. Pandey, whose link is in the description, and he was so great to share that on his Instagram account. I think that was really great, and I follow him regularly on social media, and he's such an amazing person, trust me. Like, I'm not doing this because I'm promoting someone or something, but as a person, he has got these strong values. That is, he loved this woman, and now she's not there, but it's fine. Life is all about enjoying the little things, and when you know that you have lived in those little moments, that is what matters. So this message was so strong and so positive. I really felt good. So you all should definitely go and follow this man Ajay K. Pandey, his social account. It's very genuine, very raw, very authentic. I totally look up to this person. He's a very honest person, and also a very strong person for sure. Yeah. And also the second, that is When Only Love Remains, is again a story of this girl and a boy. This girl was a flight attendant, and the guy was a very big upcoming sensation, or rather I would say rock star, who was on the like growth. But after they fall in love and everything happens, this guy meets with a very terrible accident where he was totally like handicapped and paralyzed. But this girl, her willpower, her determination to make sure that he recovers soon was undaunting, and it is something which will make you cry. It will make you believe that if you are truly in love with someone, you won't leave. You won't leave no matter what, and you will try to fight for him till the rest of your life. And yeah, in the end, things were much better. So this is another book which made me cry. Okay, now the third worst, I would say, the worst read of mine till date, or rather the most boring read till date would be, now I know many people are going to kill me because of this. It's Paulo Coelho's Adultery. Sorry to all the Paulo Coelho's fans. There is no like biasness or partiality or anything. I have read his first book, Alchemist, and it was great. It was amazing. But frankly speaking, Adultery was something which I expected to be much better. But I felt it was just the same thing being dragged all over the book. The only good part about this book was the scene where this girl goes for paragliding. So this is a story of a woman who becomes very bored after a certain point of time in her marriage. So this message was very strong, which is something which usually happens, you know. So this thing has been expressed in a manner which was pretty much boring. Not because this woman was also bored, but trust me, that was the only thing throughout the book. So it talks about the woman who has been in a marriage since a really long time, but she doesn't find happiness, maybe because her husband doesn't love her, or she's just too bored. And then she meets her ex back in school or college, and then they start dating and they start having a relationship. But then also she's bored, and she keeps on having these doubts in her mind whether she's cheating on her husband by being with her ex for some time, or whether she's cheating on herself by not being happy. So I get the message. The message is something really strong, that a woman really confused and trying to find out what she really wants. But this message has been dragged a lot, like more than what was needed. That is something was a drawback for me, because the message and the lesson was very strong. But if he could have like just not dragged it all over the book, it would have been a bit more palpable and a bit more readable. So the only good part was when this woman just lets go everything and goes to take this paragliding thing, and that whole experience was something really nice. So that is the only good thing about this book. After reading that whole description of the paragliding incident, you would eventually like to go for paragliding yourself as well. So seriously, no hard thoughts on any of the Paulo Coelho fans. I personally like his writings. I have read Alchemist, it's amazing. I do love his works, but just for this particular book, it was not like that great. I would give it like a 2.8 or something out of 5. So that's why it was a bore for me. Like, it was the same thing basically what I felt like. Now there may be people who loved Adultery, who found it as amazing. I'm not saying it's bad. The message and the lesson was really good, really strong, but I just felt there could have been more to it, because there was not even much character as well, just 2 to 3 characters, and mainly the protagonist speaking. So yeah, that's why I just felt a bit bored and just too much dragged in it. That's it. So yeah, these 3 were the books under favorite, most emotional, and the most boring, or I think Wall Street or something like that. But yeah, these were just one of each, and there are others as well, as I talked about under the favorites, like Jeffrey Archer's Prodigal Daughter. So those are the things which I read in ebooks, so I don't have the paperbacks with me now, so I just thought of showing these 3 books to all of you people. And yeah, so any one of you out here who likes to read emotional reads or stuffs like that can definitely check out this one, Durjoy Datta's When Only Love Remains. Ajay K. Pandey's books are really good, emotional also, and he writes on things which are very genuine and honest. Like, you can totally connect, you can totally understand the emotions which he wants to express. And for best books, Sidney Sheldon, I think all his books are amazing. Jeffrey Archer's books are amazing. And also do check out Emily Bird's Star Trilogy on Wattpad, which is there for free. If you people are nature lovers, filled with romanticism, filled with poetry, and feel like you have a poetic life, do check those out. Yeah, okay, that's it for this particular video. It's longer. Yeah, just do hit like, share and subscribe to my channel, and share my videos with people who you feel will benefit from this kind of contents. That's it. Bye. Stay happy, stay tuned, and love yourself.